안녕하세요. Riding on the Korean wave. Welcome to Thursday's edition of The Culture Wave. I'm Kwon So-ah in Seoul. Explore with us Korea's culture from all aspects, with today's focus on K-entertainment, especially K-pop boy groups, K-democracy, and more. And we're going to do all of that together with my Thursday co-host, Bella Kim. Hello, Bella.
Hi, So-ah, and hello to everyone joining us today on The Culture Wave. I'm Bella, back again to co-host and fill you guys in with some exciting K-entertainment news.
Bella, you're looking very 청량하다 today.
Oh, do I?
Yes,
thank you. So do you.
Oh, thank you. Well, our styling team did a great job, as always, because today we're actually going to talk about 청량한 K-pop boy groups, which means kind of refreshing style boy groups. So while we are the girls in this 청량 style, we're going to talk with our K-pop expert, Jeff, in a bit about those K-pop boy groups. Yes, but first, it's, of course, Bella time. That means K-entertainment news. And we're now in the first week of December, which means it's time for all the year-end awards and charts rolling out. So let's start with a K-pop artist who topped one of those K-pop charts this year-end.
Yes, that is correct. I mean, it's been a while since I sang this song on our show, but today I can't go without singing it. 아파트, 아파트. Blackpink member Rose has swept Apple Music's 2025 year-end rankings with 아파트, her collaborative hit single with Bruno Mars. According to Apple Music, 아파트 took first place in 4 key categories: Top Songs of 2025 Global, Top 100 Shazam, Top 100 Global Radio, and Top 100 Lyrics. The song stood out among influential artists such as Bad Bunny, Taylor Swift, Morgan Wallen, and Drake. 아파트 took the world by storm since its release in October of last year, hitting Billboard's Hot 100 at number 3 and staying in the chart for 45 weeks, shattering records for a K-pop female solo artist and also K-pop artist overall.
You know, Bella, hearing you sing 아파트, 아파트, it brings back memories of a year ago when this song was sensational and it is still topping the charts.
Definitely.
That is incredible. And our next story is also related to the music charts and also incredible.
That's correct. K-pop Demon Hunters dominated YouTube Korea this year with its hit track Golden emerging as the most viewed song of the year. On Wednesday, YouTube released its annual year-end list across 4 categories: trending topics, trending creators, top songs, and top short songs, highlighting what captivated Korean users this year. The list of top songs is compiled based on domestic YouTube views for tracks released this year, 2025, or showing significant growth from the previous year. Now, 3 of the 10 most popular songs on YouTube Korea in 2025 are from Netflix hit animated film K-pop Demon Hunters, with Golden ranking number 1. Other tracks from the film, Soda Pop and Your Idol, ranked 3rd and 10th respectively. And also, Golden and Soda Pop also ranked the top 2 spots on the YouTube Short Songs chart, cementing their viral appeal.
Bella, I heard you sing Golden before once, and you sang 아파트, I think, almost 10 times. What about the high notes here for Golden? Come on, I'm waiting for that.
Up, yes.
All right, it was surely a year of K-pop Demon Hunters, but now we're going to talk, we're going to stay on the platform of Netflix, but this time a series.
That is correct. Actress Jeon Do-yeon and Kim Go-eun will reunite in the upcoming Netflix series, The Price of Confession, or 자백의 대가 in Korean. On Wednesday, a press screening and conference for the new series was held at CGV Yongsan iPark Mall in Seoul, and the event was attended by lead actors Jeon Do-yeon, Kim Go-eun, Park Hae-soo, and the director Lee Jung-hyo. The Price of Confession is a mystery thriller where art teacher Yoon-soo is accused of murdering her husband and meets Moon, a mysterious figure known as the Witch. The 2 actresses are reunited after 10 years since their collaboration in the film Memories of the Sword. The Price of Confession will be released globally in over 190 countries on Netflix tomorrow. That's Friday.
So something to watch on the weekend. And there are so many woman power dramas and films coming out, as we usually recently have been talking about as well. Well, thank you very much, Bella, for that, and stick around.
Will do.
And now let's turn to our AI anchor Arang for more on the culture front. Arang?
Hello and welcome to your AI guide to the latest cultural updates from Korea. Here's our top story. The Ministry of Culture, Sports, and Tourism's budget for next year has been set at 7.8 trillion won, or about $5.3 billion, up more than 11% from this year. The ministry said the allocation centers on advancing the K-content industry as a national strategic sector and expanding tourism for both domestic and international visitors. Funding for the content sector will increase by 27% from this year. The boost aligns with President Lee Jae-myung's pledge to usher in a 300 trillion won, or $200 billion, K-culture era. The ministry reiterated that it will ensure efficient execution to support the global expansion of Korean culture. The National Museum of Korea is on track to surpass 6 million visitors this year for the first time in its history. From January 1st to November 30th, more than 5.8 million people visited the museum, and given the current pace, the total is expected to exceed 6 million as early as next week. This would mark the museum's highest annual attendance since its opening in 1945. Cumulative visitors over the past 80 years have now topped 100 million. The 2025 Korea Intellectual Property Exhibition is underway at Seoul's COEX, running through this Saturday. The event is Korea's largest IP expo, showcasing outstanding patents, trademarks, and IP designs, while supporting market expansion and distribution opportunities for related businesses. This year's event features a wide range of advanced technologies, patented products, as well as notable inventions from about 20 countries. Minister of Intellectual Property Kim Yong-seon vowed continued efforts to position Korea as a leading IP powerhouse amid rapidly evolving global technological competition. That's all from me. Stay tuned to the Culture Wave.
Turning the calendar to the evening of December 3rd, 2024 here in Korea, a martial law declaration shook the nation. 1 year later, a massive nighttime rally was held outside the National Assembly on Wednesday, closing a full day of remembrance events, including music and exhibitions. Arirang's Moon Hye-ryun files this report.
A large rally outside the National Assembly on Wednesday night marked the climax of a full day of commemorative events held to observe the first anniversary of former President Yoon Suk-yeol's martial law declaration. People filled the streets despite below-freezing temperatures, with music, speeches and banners recalling last year's nationwide protests, setting a charged, energetic tone.
It feels like time has flown by. Some issues have been resolved, while others remain, but as a citizen I will continue to work hard to address even those that haven't been resolved.
Lawmakers from the ruling Democratic Party and members of other liberal parties also joined the rally, standing with the public as they reflected on the events of a year ago. The nighttime rally capped a day of programs and exhibitions held throughout the National Assembly compound. Beginning in the morning, visitors were invited to view a photo exhibition documenting scenes from the hours when martial law was in effect. The collection includes images of military vehicles, civic resistance, and the historic plenary session in which all 190 lawmakers present voted unanimously to demand the lifting of martial law, a moment many consider a turning point in the crisis. A series of guided dark tours also launched on Wednesday, offering the public a first-hand look at key locations tied to the events of last year. National Assembly Speaker Won-sik led the inaugural tour himself on the first day, walking participants through the fence he climbed to enter the building, the second-floor entrance where lawmakers confronted martial law troops, and the grounds where military helicopters landed. Special displays now mark each site, and the tours will continue through Friday. The anniversary program continued late into the evening with a media facade projection on the outer walls of the assembly, recounting the timeline of the crisis and its aftermath. Combining videos shot from a year ago with performances and music to commemorate the occasion, the 20-minute show offered a reflection on the events that took place a year before and all that followed, drawing crowds well into the night.
Standing here 1 year on, the National Assembly now serves both as a memorial space and as a reminder of how decisively the public and lawmakers acted in a moment of crisis. Moon Hae-ryun, Arirang News.
라라라라라라라 날 좋아한다고. This is part of an iconic song from a Korean beverage advertisement. The song is known for its refreshing, pure, and bright vibe. In Korean, we call this 청량하다. These days, it's not only drinks that are 청량하다. K-pop boy groups with this fresh, youthful, approachable, and natural energy, such as NCT Wish, Tuosu, and Cortez, are attracting fans from all over the world. Their vibe is rather different from the more what we conventionally call masculine and powerful styles like Monsta X, ATEEZ, and Stray Kids. So let's talk more about the trend of 청량 boy groups with our K-pop expert Jeff Benjamin, who is now connected with us. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, everybody.
All right, Jeff. So some people in the K-pop industry say that we are in the golden era of refreshing style boy groups. I tried to explain that 청량하다 with as many adjectives as I could in English. But do you agree with that sentiment? And what do you think are the defining characteristics of boy groups that excel at the 청량 concept?
Yeah, I've actually been saying, probably also on this show, that this is a really great year for K-pop rookie boy groups, especially. To me, it started in January with JYP Entertainment's boy band Kickflip. I really love their debut. They were really bringing it to me, something that kind of started everything in this more refreshing, lighter style that I'm really enjoying from a lot of different boy groups. And I think that's what's really special about these refreshing and approachable concepts is almost how un-K-pop it is, in the sense that it's supposed to come off a little more relaxed, a little more casual, as if you're hanging out with your own friends, right? But it's kind of remarkable, right? Because they train so much and we know how hard they work. So it's almost that much harder to make it look that casual and natural and bubbly and fun. So it's kind of just this amazing thing, and I'm really enjoying what's happening so far.
Definitely. So as these groups with bright, youthful, heightened energy are getting a lot of attention lately, which group would you say stands out to you the most this year, especially with the refreshing groups? And also personally, which groups are you keeping an eye out?
Yeah, so it really did start with Kickflip for me. I love their debut single, Great. And then their latest title track, My First Love Song, is really good. I think I just saw them win. They were nominated for Rookie of the Year in a couple different places, so really excited for them. Close Your Eyes is a really special group too, just for really great music they're bringing. I feel like they subverted a lot of different expectations of what maybe a K-pop rookie should sound like, but they have this very mature, thoughtful music, but have a very youthful look at the same time. A-Hope is another one I'm really enjoying. They were made, A-Hope rather, made from Universal League. They're really strong songs while being like these really lovable guys. And Cortez, I think, is a really, really special group too, because and I think they're going to be very famous, because I almost think of them almost in this totally different category, just given how they've established themselves as these creators and musicians. They just won, I saw, Rookie of the Year at the Mama Awards just a couple days ago. So everyone's really starting strong. To Us, NCT Wish, a lot of huge and great names coming out right now.
I have to agree with you on that. And Jeff, the popularity of these idols with that 청량 style, maybe I should call them 청량 dolls, is also very evident overseas. So how are you seeing the reactions from the global fans?
Yeah, so right away, have to bring up Cortis's debut EP, Color Outside the Lines, debuted at number 15 on the Billboard 200. That's the second highest ever for a K-pop act's debut album, and that's only behind Super M's debut, which of course is a supergroup made from established beloved idols, so take that as you will. And I think Cortis especially, that we saw them, they were able to hit number 1 on Spotify Global's viral chart with their song Go. And just really, really kind of exciting reactions. People are getting really excited about them. I see a lot of love for Close Your Eyes' music. And then you're seeing really great opportunities for a lot of these groups. Kickflip performed at Lollapalooza this year in Chicago. Groups like Tuas and NCT Wish were booked for different big US performances like KCON and SM Town USA. So not only are these groups kind of, you know, making inroads and of course trying to establish their global fan base, but they're really being welcomed with open arms from fans. So I think everyone's really kind of open-minded and just excited to see what these new artists have to bring.
Definitely. We can definitely see these groups thrive in global stages, on global stages. And also what's notable is that recently idols are, you know, showing more of a candid or unfiltered sides of them in interviews or variety shows. How do you think this combination of authenticity and this refreshing energy, refreshing vibe kind of influencing their growth in the international music industry?
I really do think this is key. And I think it's going to be more important as we move forward, just in terms of thinking about K-pop and music on a global platform. I always thought a huge part of BTS's success, specifically in America, was their openness and their candidness to kind of address all things, even the difficult parts of what may come up. And I think overseas fans really appreciate and respect that. I know I certainly do. The difficult part, I think, is when you see this when you see this openness so cemented, right, in their worlds. It's so much part of their personalities. And then if something difficult or controversial does show up, and sometimes there isn't a proper way to handle this. And I think, you know, these groups get at risk for shattering those images. So I think that's kind of almost the key thing, is not to really, you know, fake being candid or fake, you know, being down to earth, but really just show who you are and let these artists have the opportunity and the space to grow and share themselves in an honest way. And I think everyone will ultimately win in that case. You know, I think the artists will be more comfortable. I think the fans will appreciate them and connect with them more as people. You know, you just can't really commit to these certain kinds of images, and then, you know, if something difficult happens, it kind of just rubs people the wrong way, I think. So you can't just be, you know, down to earth when it's convenient.
I think that agencies are these days more open towards such, you know, openness.
Right.
And speaking of which...
Well, agencies are definitely, the major entertainment companies are very leaning towards into this refreshing idols concept, because obviously, as you've spoke, they're very successful. They're getting tons of love globally. So that's kind of what they're leaning towards. What kind of, or how effective do you think kind of this strategy is in the global music market?
Yeah, to be honest, I think it's a little still, you know, to be determined. We'll have to see exactly what happens when it comes to K-pop. And I really do think, you know, that honesty and genuineness is really special. But if there's a crack in it, you know, that can become problematic. But, you know, right now, we're definitely seeing how, as you mentioned prior, you know, the strong groups like Stray Kids and ATEEZ really getting, you know, multiple #1 albums in the US. But I personally see Cortis as just a really strong example of a group owning their artistic identities, being really proud of that, and, you know, not being afraid to do things that are different or unorthodox to the scene. And they're getting really good results too. So I think this is going to be something we're definitely going to see in that global space for sure. More artists owning their identities and really going for it, for something refreshing and new.
And now let's turn a little bit to not really girl groups, but to make that comparison. Currently, there are quite a lot of girl groups that are leading with strong, powerful concepts, while boy groups are gaining momentum with that refreshing and youthful style. So why do you think this conceptual distinction exists? And also, why are we seeing like predominantly boy groups with that Cheongnam style?
Yeah, well, waves happen, right? This happens in music and in all types of ways. And I think it was, around 2022 when this is when New Jeans and 50/50 came out. That was like a really refreshing style, especially for these new female groups. And now things have shifted a little bit. And I think it's almost natural to kind of see this, right? You'll naturally kind of see these different waves happening. That's a reference, of course, to the K-wave. But we'll just see, what these groups are kind of trying to do in different ways. I think, of course, things are going to get boring if everyone just kind of tries recreating the same kind of groups over and over. And I think, the music industry, especially the K-pop scene, definitely always tends to recognize if one group is put out that feels too similar to another group. No one wants to just follow and just no one becomes a fan of a group simply because they feel like another version of a group they already love. We always want to see something fresh. We always want to see something new. So as the music industry always works, in cycles, in waves, I think it's now time for the boys to have a little more fun, be a little more refreshing in this way. And then, who knows, maybe, we'll see the girls come back in a more refreshing way, or maybe these boys are on their way to maturing to the more quote unquote masculine concepts and things like that. I think everything has its own cycle. And right now, though, the boys are really bringing it in a really exciting way.
I'm going to ask you about the future in just a moment, but before that, just looking at the music videos right now of all those refreshing style boy groups, I really have to say the visuals itself, that really shows how, refreshing this is. Most of the music videos seems to be happening at daylight, and there's a lot of light blue also in the clothings. So what do you think, like the visuals, or is it the voices or the tones? What do you think is the biggest factor in, defining this music, this kind of refreshing style boy group music?
I think it's all you said and, and above, because I think, it's almost kind of capturing this kind of time of youth, right? I think it's so wonderful when you can kind of play off different elements from childhood. Of course, we all, everyone has a childhood in different ways, whether you were the kind of kid who played sports on the field, or you went and played with your friends in the park, or whatever it might be, dance by yourself in your room, or dance with friends on stage. Everyone always kind of had these carefree, feeling refreshing moments of freedom. And I think this is almost something that the boy bands in particular are really, really good at capturing. Kind of brings you back to a less chaotic time, a less, maybe a more free time. And especially these days with just how difficult things can be, whether it comes to politics, to whether it comes to social media, or just how digitally, connected we all are. I think these boy groups really kind of bring us back to a time that feels, lighter and easier. And I think that's definitely brought into, thanks to how great the K-pop industry is at knowing how to work with the different elements, whether that's the music itself, whether that's the visuals. We see this groups with these bright colored hairs, or a lot of them are wearing bright denim, or like you said, filming their music videos during the days. I think all these things kind of bring that lightness and that cheer, and that thing we kind of need maybe right now in particular. And so I know I really appreciate it. I always love seeing something that feels good, lifts my spirit in that way. And I think a lot of these guys are doing it and kind of owning it in that way too.
Almost feels like summer, Jeff. But just briefly, I mean, you touched upon it already, but that these trends are, going in circles, in cycles, that is. But where do you see this current refreshing K-pop boy group trend go? Or maybe how long do you think it will last?
Yeah, well, I think my hope, I'll say, is that, that these artists, it continues, that these artists get chances to shine, share more of themselves and a bit more of this candid way, and there isn't just such rigid standards put on their personal lives or their personal identities, that we can all kind of feel a bit more of this freedom and this lightness we were talking about in the prior question. So I really do think if fans can acknowledge this, respect this, which I do think happens as a group gains more international fans, it will kind of lead to a more hopefully peaceful world in general. But when it comes to the industry at large, personally I always feel like SM Entertainment is a step ahead of the trends and kind of sets the new trends. To me, I feel like NCT Dream is kind of the blueprint for this style, but also I think Rise and NCT Wish really embodied this style early as well. And they're supposedly debuting a new boy band in 2026, so in the first half. So I'll be really watching those rookies. I got to see them at SM Town, USA. They really looked like they had something special to prove too. So I'm very much looking forward to those guys in particular, and maybe they'll set the trend for what we talk about next time.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Jeff, for connecting with us today. And I think we are going to talk very soon again, so we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, guys. Stay warm.
You too. And thank you, Bella, as always. So we're going to see you back here tomorrow.
Yes, I'll see you back tomorrow.
Thank you for spending the past half an hour with us on the Cultural Wave. Please join us again tomorrow on Friday at 2 p.m. Korea time, and maybe one day here in Korea.